husband, Michael, and we've been in Vietnam for 13 years now. We have 4 children. They're actually all adults, so they're between the ages of 28 and 21. 3 of them are back living in California now. Our son Evan is still with us here. He works with us in Simple Coffee and supports us with different activities with Imago WORK. Evan is 27 years old. When he was born 27 years ago, we found out that he has Down syndrome. So that meant that we knew that he would always have a cognitive disability. But we decided at that time when he became part of our family that we just wanted him to be like everyone else in our family. And we wanted him to have a fulfilling life, go to school, have friends, have a spiritual life. So Evan has always been a part of our family's journey through Asia. We lived in Kyrgyzstan for 10 years, and now we've been in Vietnam for the last 13 years. Evan did have a chance to go back to the US during his college days, and he went to a special college called Shepherd's College, where he received some vocational training and then spent 2 years working at a restaurant in the US before he decided to come back and work with us here in Simple Coffee. Came back here in 2019, and now, he's been someone that is working in our shop, and it's kind of Evan's journey to being here and then going back to school and then returning. We thought it was a great example for maybe what other young people like Evan would like to do, which is go to work, have a social life, have a spiritual life. And so we are grateful that Evan is here, part of our team, our Simple Coffee team. I grew up in California. I went to Cal State Long Beach and I got a degree in elementary education. And so I worked for a while in California. And then during the days that we were in Kyrgyzstan, I was also doing some teaching. And that's actually how we came to Vietnam as well. My husband and I are both educators. So husband has also been a teacher and administrator, and I've taught various levels in elementary, and then also I worked for some time doing learning support, which is supporting students with special needs in a school. Here in Hanoi, I worked at Concordia International School for a while before we started Imago WORK. We met in California. We were college students. We were young. We were 18 when we met. And I think, since your interest really is like motivating young people to be involved in social enterprises and being involved in the community, that was actually one thing that did bring us together. Some of it was just rooted out of our Christian faith, that we really did want to do things that were going to be good for wherever, whatever place we were living. And so that was part of us being interested in each other, and then also considering moving abroad as well. We were both interested in that, and that's part of what I think drew us together even when we were young. So we got married when we were 20, been kind of on this journey together. Well, it's the capital, cultural center. It's the capital. Yeah, we visited both Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi with our children. They had grown up in Central Asia. So, some background of the Soviet Union at that time was comprised of many countries, and Kyrgyzstan was one of them. So my children were actually quite familiar with the Soviet system. They went to school, they spoke Russian. When we visited Hanoi, we realized that, there was also a connection that Hanoi had with Russia, and it just seemed comfortable for us. We knew that we would take time to understand Hanoi and make friends. Now that we've been here a long time, we really love the people. We really love the food. We love just the community aspect of living here, how people and families really support each other. Even for us, they bring us in also as kind of part of their family, so that makes it nice to live here. Everything actually started with a coffee shop called Simple Coffee 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And my husband really was interested in coffee and interested in making a change. And so his friend, Jason Weimer, who's in Bangkok, was the founder of Simple Coffee. So Simple Coffee already existed in Thailand. We really were interested in how coffee could take us into some remote areas in Vietnam and meet really interesting farmers, people growing the coffee, and at that time too, Vietnamese coffee was becoming a lot more popular. So they took trips into the different highlands in Sun La and Dalat, met different farmers. Through this story of Simple Coffee, we first started just selling bags of coffee and trying to do direct trade with farmers. So supporting the farmers, bringing their coffee into Hanoi, selling it in shops. So it started very small, but then we decided with our friend Julie Schumacher to open up a retail shop. So our first retail shop was in Tejo, and that's where we had this vision that the shop would be a place that brings people together. So it would be more than just a coffee shop. We wanted our coffee shop to have a feel of that anyone, no matter who you are, could come there, could have a drink, get some coffee, and talk with the staff there, meet people, and bring people together. And then we also shared a bit about my son Evan's background. We also wanted to use the coffee shop to offer work to neurodivergent people. So neurodivergent means basically anyone who maybe their cognitive pathways work a little bit different than typical. That was important for us to be able to use our shop to hire people like that. At that time, we had a relationship with Blue Dragon organization, and they understood that we wanted to use our coffee shop for hiring neurodivergent individuals. And so they introduced us to a young man named Huang. And Huang is still with Simple Coffee to this day. He was one of our first employees. Huang is deaf and has an intellectual disability. We really were committed to doing what we could to find meaningful work for him. Slowly over time, we learned that if we use pictures, if we use lists, if we use gesturing, and just clearly communicating with our hands with him, that he could learn the work really well. And we saw him improve a lot. That inspired us to want to do that for more young adults like Evan, like Huang. We started thinking about this vision of inclusive workplaces. And so we had this vision that there would be a movement of inclusive workplaces where young adults with intellectual disabilities could go use their gifts, their talents, their abilities. They could go and work, and they could be a part of a work community. So we also recognized that there weren't a lot of training opportunities to prepare young people for that. And that's where Imago WORK came, and we said, let's just try to open up a small vocational training, not a school, but like a vocational training center. And we gave it the name Imago WORK. And so the name is an interesting name because a lot of people don't know what Imago WORK. It actually comes from the Latin phrase Imago Dei. So in Latin, the phrase Imago Dei means image of the Creator. It means image of the one who gave you life. God gives life to all humans, and that we are different from the plants and the animals, that we are actually bearing God's image, that we look like him in the way that we take care of the creation, we take care of each other, we take care of the earth. Put imago with the word work, we give it that idea that when we go to work, we show that we have this unique relationship with the one who created it. That was important, especially for neurodivergent young adults, for them to have that understanding that they are in this world for a purpose, that they have many things to offer this world. Really, the problem is that society and this world, the community, doesn't really know how to receive that from them. And so we had this vision to train them, but then more than just train to go to work, we wanted them to have friends and have a community to belong to. We recognized like we can't hire everyone in our small shop. Let's try to develop relationships with other companies, work with them to create jobs in their company for neurodivergent young adults. The first company that we joined up with was Joma Bakery, and they also were willing to explore the possibility of hiring some of our students. What's unique about our program is that we train our students in our program here in our center for 1 to 2 years. We also go out with them once we find a company willing to create a job, and our job coaches go with them and spend time there training on the job, training the company, training the staff there, first just training them about neurodivergent, what is neurodivergence, and how do we work with young people like that. So we just do a lot of train our students, but then more importantly, we train the community, we train the businesses, and we train the people working with our students to really to understand the special ways to connect with our students. Most of them have autism or Down syndrome or other different types of developmental disabilities, that type of young people that we focus on. Probably two challenges. We need to have trained staff to work with our students, and I'm really amazed with how Vietnam is developing this area, but it is the area of special education and inclusive education. And so we have to work with universities and any local organizations to network in order to find qualified staff who understand about people with special needs and know how to work with them. We've been really grateful because somehow the first few staff people that have come to work with us, they're really amazing and they have a heart for and a passion for working with our students. And so this is a core team that we are able to build the program with right now. But as we want to grow, looking for more qualified teachers, I think, is a big need. The second challenge is, I would just say, it's the mindset, so a lot of what we have to do is to change people's mind from thinking, someone with an intellectual disability, someone who maybe can't speak well, or they're slow, or they can't read, how can they work? How can they contribute to our company? Many people just really haven't had the opportunity, honestly, because it's not really talked about in school, don't have experience with being around other students with special needs, and so they feel maybe nervous. But once we just break that down by letting them spend time together, it makes a big difference. We also host a weekly social club here so that we can invite peers that are the same age of our students and just invite them to come here, play games, have conversations. Our students make coffee drinks and serve them. We create this atmosphere where they can interact together in a natural environment, and it's fun. But then it gives young people a chance to begin to have those friendships. So to me, that's where it starts, having the personal relationship with someone different from you, someone with a disability. So I think that's a really fun and cool part of our program. Just look at all different kind of jobs. We try to think about our students and who might be able to, maybe they won't do that full position, but is there parts of that job they can do? Can we modify their hours? Can we make some small changes that enable them to go? The training just depends on how much time it takes them to get there. But for the most part, it takes between 1 to 3 years for us to, when they first start with us, and then they're placed somewhere, and then they're on their own in that place. So our first student, Zui, he came to us in our first year in 2020, 2021. He was with us for 1 year. Then he had like an internship for the second year with a hotel, with the Intercontinental Hotel. Job coach would go fewer times during the month until at one point then the department he was working in, the bakery, they said, we don't need anyone to support him anymore. We know how to work with him. We feel comfortable. And so now Zui's been there for 3 years and he doesn't require Imago support. He's works 20 hours a week, but we're still a new program. This is only our 4th year, so we want to see more and more students like Zui. Right now, we have about 7 who are placed in internships or more long-term part-time work. Altogether, since the beginning, we train 20 students. So they're all at various stages of our training. So I mentioned, from our first year, they're fully on their own, 2 of them, but there's another 18 that we are still involved in. We have 14 that actually are here every day, learning social skills, life skills, vocational skills, and then they also have time to go out into different businesses and practice their work skills. So why we're all in one building is that Simple Coffee is the kind of the model inclusive workplace. So they start there. They can do a little bit of time practicing in the coffee shop here. And then little by little, we get them out into other businesses in Hanoi. We met Huang, I think, 5 years ago, and it was through Blue Dragon organization. So Huang was attending a special education center called Akari, And then he was also attending some activities with Blue Dragon. He was getting older, and so the center was not servicing older students. And so Blue Dragon knew that we were trying to start a coffee shop that would employ young adults like Huang. So some representatives from Blue Dragon came and spoke with us and then introduced Huang and his family to us. So we decided to work with Huang. We thought, we're going to have many things we can teach him, but honestly, we learned more from him than we taught him. I think he's not able to hear, so he had to use his vision and all his other senses to really understand what we were asking of him. At first, we gave him very simple jobs. We thought maybe he, can't do these jobs. But very quickly we realized, okay, he's capable of way more. And so we just kept adding more jobs for him. And we mostly used photo cards to show him the different tasks. But then over time, he learned all the different jobs in the coffee shop, and he doesn't need the photo cards anymore. He knows how to serve customers, how to make drinks, to look around and see what needs to be cleaned, or what tables need to be put back in order. He's part of our team now, and we are grateful for him and his family, and we were thankful to know him through that time as well.
Bắt đầu làm việc ở Simple Coffee từ cuối năm 2018. Thì Imago bắt đầu thành lập từ khoảng cuối năm 2019, thì mình lúc đó là nhân viên của Simple Coffee và mình một trong những người hỗ trợ cho Imago WORK. Một trong những cái khó khăn ban đầu tức là mình chưa có cái nền tảng về việc giáo dục đặc biệt ấy. Thì lúc ban đầu sẽ gặp khó khăn là chưa hiểu hết được biểu hiện của khuyết tật trí tuệ, thì lúc đó mình cần hướng dẫn được training thêm về cái mảng này. Thì cô Michelle và các giáo viên của bên Imago WORK đã giúp cho mình được rất là nhiều để mình hiểu hơn về các em và làm sao có thể làm việc với các em một cách hiệu quả nhất. Ra có rất là nhiều ấn tượng với tất cả các em, bởi vì các em làm việc ở đây, đến đây học và trở thành như một gia đình ấy. Thì mình có ấn tượng về chị Lan Anh. Chị Lan Anh hơn mình 1 tuổi. Chị Lan Anh là sinh năm 91. Thì là một trong những học viên đáng yêu và thân thiện nhất mà mình từng biết. Chị Lan Anh có tức là hội chứng Down ấy. Và chị Lan Anh là học viên của năm thứ nhất luôn, nên là một trong những học viên mà mình thấy gắn bó ngay từ những ngày ban đầu. Và ngay cả sau này khi mà chị Lan Anh đi thực tập và đi làm và hiện nay đang được làm việc ở Roma, thì mình cũng vẫn tức là giữ liên lạc, và thỉnh thoảng chị và mẹ chị Lan Anh vẫn quay trở lại quán để thăm chơi. Thì tức là như một gia đình luôn. Mình thấy cực kỳ rất là quý và thân. Môi trường làm việc ở đây rất là đa dạng và năng động. Tức là mình làm việc ở đây được 5 năm, nhưng nhìn thôi là năm nào mình cũng có một điều gì đấy để học hỏi những cái được đào tạo thêm, nên mình cảm thấy nó là một cái môi trường mà liên tục có sự thay đổi, nó phù hợp với tính cách của mình, luôn luôn thích sự thay đổi, luôn luôn muốn được học hỏi. Đương nhiên là mình rất là muốn gắn bó với cả công ty khi mà mình đã chuyển sang một cái địa điểm mới rộng rãi hơn và có thể tiếp nhận thêm được nhiều em học sinh hơn, thì mình thấy mô hình hoạt động doanh nghiệp xã hội này rất là xứng đáng để được nhân rộng hơn. Thì mình muốn sẽ được đóng một vai trò trong công ty, và mình muốn được phát triển thêm về mặt kỹ năng, về mặt đào tạo và về mặt quản lý.